Straight Woonsocket 762-1657.
Saturday's weather, sunshine and 58. Sunday, sunshine and 46. Monday, a 90% chance of rain and possibly snow likely in the morning, and then just rain later in the day. High of 52 with a breeze from the south. Monday night, more rain. Tuesday, mostly sunny skies with a high near 53. Wednesday, chance of rain, sunny skies with a high of 49. That's only a 30% chance of rain Wednesday. And on Thursday, less than that. A mostly sunny day with a high of 49 degrees.
And currently outside the Navigant Union Broadcast Studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, we have 44.2 warming up degrees. And good morning. Welcome to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan along with my co-host Pat Holland. Pat, good morning, and thank you for taking control of the ship these past 2 weeks while I was driving to and from Florida and enjoying the 85-degree weather. So thank you so much for taking control and running the ship the last 2 weeks. Hope you didn't miss me too much.
It was a nice smooth sailing, if I could say
yep.
so myself. But glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back. As much as I enjoyed being in Florida, I got to see 10 games. I did get to see my very first ever spring training baseball game. Saw the Cardinals against the Mets. Matt and I, my oldest, got to check that out down in Jupiter, Florida. So it was pretty cool to see a spring training game. Have you ever been to one of those? Spring training?
No.
First time I've ever been. I know people that book trips every year to go spring training, but
I myself have not.
no, it was pretty wild. It was such a laid-back little atmosphere, and yeah, nice and warm down there as well. There we go. I think, Pat, I just asked you a question, but I don't think your mic was on. Have you ever been to a spring training game?
We're already in
got our first.
water.
We got our first glitch of the show. So it's this thing on. So all right. So let's just jump right into it. Usually we start off with a bunch of the high school and work our way around. But late last night, early this morning, our Bryan Bulldogs, very strong first half last night, Pat. They were thinking some upset over Tom Izzo, Michigan State. Ultimately, they fell 87-62. And when you see the score and they lost by 25, you're thinking they got blown out. They really didn't. They led early. They jumped out to a 5-0 lead. They were like 19-17. And at the half, they were only trailing at the half, 37-32. They even got off a last-second shot. I don't think it would have counted. But they had a nice deal. Michigan State had a 54-34 advantage, though, in the second half to kind of dismiss the upset bid. Bryan was led by Rafael Pinzon's 21 points. And kind of a little deceptive. His shot was off all game. I don't know how much you saw it.
That could be the difference in the game right there. I mean, the first half, he was off. So
he was.
A lot of his shots that he normally hits in the first half. Maybe they stretched that lead, put a little bit more pressure on Michigan State.
Right.
But needless to say, Michigan State took over the second half, right?
Right.
Rebounding. I think they had 18 or 19 offensive rebounds.
This was the thing. So I'm watching the game and trying to watch somewhat closely. With Bryant and trying not to fall asleep because it was on late after a long day at work. So I looked it up this morning too, just to get the numbers. It looked like to the eyeball test that Bryant couldn't secure a rebound, and sure enough, on the boards they were out rebounded 54-29. This is the stat that not only does that stat jump out at me. Michigan State had 21 offensive rebounds. Bryant had 20 defensive rebounds, meaning that on the same end of the boards, they were out-rebounded in all those second-chance points. And that was, again, the eyeball told me that Bryan didn't even get a rebound in the second half. It was just Michigan State just took off.
Almost at will in the second half.
Absolutely.
From an offensive rebounding standpoint. And they started hitting some open threes.
Right.
And, any team gets on a roll like that, it's tough to slow them down. So, but give them credit, and Coach Izzo even said it. These guys, he had them. Martelli Jr. had them prepared to play. They and we weren't in the first half. And
they actually interviewed Izzo in the first half during the game when it was like 19-17. He was disgusted, and he pretty much, and that's all I can say on TV. He was so disgusted with the Michigan State team.
Their big player was a kid off the bench who came in and just he was like 6 for 6.
Their
dynamic.
their bench outscored Bryant's bench. Well, and Bryant does like a 7 or 8 man rotation anyway. Yeah, exactly. You don't get deep when you get the mid majors, and I wouldn't even call Bryant a mid major, kind of like a lower mid. It's but Earl Timberlake also had 14 points for Bryant. He got gouged. He was like a WWE wrestler with the blood pouring down his face. He had to leave.
Didn't see that. I saw the towards the end of the first half.
He was bleeding through it like Schilling.
It was like, whoa.
Yeah, and they end up reviewing that and calling a foul after the play. It didn't look bad. Just when he got up, it was just the blood. He was like bleeding like WWE style. So, tremendous. Tremendous season for the Bryant men's. Basically coast to coast, winning the America East. Pinzon, Timberlake, plus many other players. Tremendous year. Hopefully putting Bryant kind of like on that D1 map, especially here in Rhode Island. I don't think they'll ever compete with a Providence College or even URI for popularity, but start building up. Maybe start selling out the Chase Center.
Conversation.
Be in the conversation. We joke about the tournament that I would like to run every year, but just have them be in the tournament, in the mix of. I mean, Rhode Island's not a big state, so you can support Bryant as well. So,
and then the Bryant women hosted and unfortunately lost the WNIT game to Army Thursday night, 59-58. Army used a 17-11 fourth quarter comeback win. Army is coached by Missy Traversi, who coached at Arabelle High School from 2011 to 2014. Congrats to Bryant ladies on a tremendous season for both basketball.
Yeah.
Both teams.
Yeah.
A lot needs to be said to the Bryant athletic directors and whatnot for bringing in two great coaches and putting together two teams that have been able to make some significant.
But
this year. So.
It's a big headway, I think, in the whole Bryant program. They were first making their mark when they went D1 with their lacrosse program, and I think they've done a nice job building it up. I think it was you that sent me the clip of the baseball catcher making a play that went kind of viral. So it's small baby steps, but I think they're building up. We'd like to thank Tristan Hobbs as well, has joined us on several occasions now. Last time he called in was before the America East final, and just giving us the time, and really thanks to Tristan. Can't wait to have him on again as well. But so congratulations, Bryant Bulldogs, Bryant Bulldogs, the men's basketball team, for being one of 3 New England teams in the 68-team men's basketball bracket. And I bring that up because of what we're going to talk about a little bit later. But let's go around Rhode Island, New England, just catch you up on some of the happenings, and then around the area. Rhode Island boys basketball state tournament. LaSalle Academy defeated Hendricken. Wow, LaSalle and Hendricken meeting in the finals. That's rare, right? That doesn't happen too often. Okay, last Sunday at URI by a score of 75-60. The day before, so last Saturday, LaSalle beat Central 73-54, and Hendricken beat Classical. On paper, I didn't see the game or anything about it, but only 70-67 for the right to play on Sunday. So congrats again to LaSalle for winning the Division I boys basketball tournament here in Little Rhodey.
Yeah, and over on the girls' side, I had a great chance to work, thankfully, to Marty Crowley. I covered the game with Marty.
Good friend, Marty Crowley. No, thanks, Marty.
Cumberland High School athletic director.
Yep.
We covered the game, the semifinal games on the NFHS network, where we saw number 5 Moses Brown upset number 1 North Kingstown in a low-scoring game. It was 35-26, and then number 2 Pontigansett beat number 6 Portsmouth by a score of 44-31. And if I remember correctly, Pontigansett did not have 1 2-point basket in that game.
No kidding.
The whole game.
Wow. Is that sad or is that good?
They shut the lights out from 3.
Right, which is a great thing, but it's so not basketball when you don't have a 2-pointer. But that could be another story for another day.
Final was on Sunday. Pontigansett beat Moses Brown 57-54 in overtime, and that was a great game. Moses Brown was led by Lauren Busquet, who was an absolute beast. She scored 42 of their 54 points.
Whoa!
And grabbed 23 rebounds, and she probably had half a dozen blocks too.
And I'm gonna put you on the spot. Any idea what grade she's in, or where she?
She is the current Gatorade Player of the Year in Rhode Island.
Okay.
And she's a junior, and I even said it. I tweeted out about it, or I said like I really can't wait to see her play next year. But she was an absolute beast in that game, and it was a good game to watch. So that closes the book.
Future Division One, that good you think, or tough to say? Depends on side. Yeah.
Tough to say.
Yep. But wow.
But, yeah, she has all the tools you need.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, she was dominant in that game, and upon against it, held on 57-54. So that closed out the winter season. And now we're on to spring. Which got underway already on Monday.
Yeah, and listen to Dave Richards' weather forecast. He mentioned something about snow, and I meant to say something to Dave. Like it's not allowed to snow. I've talked to some meteorologists in the past, and once spring sports season starts, it's not allowed to snow around here anymore. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna break down some college hockey. There's some interesting things that popped up doing a little research on college hockey. So we'll take our first break. We want to thank you for joining us in the Cheap Seats. We welcome your calls as well at 401-766-1240. Come join us in the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. We will be right back after this.
OM 1240.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasker Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Envista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasker Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TaskerBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasker Buick GMC, you will be satisfied.
To avoid long waiting periods in hospital emergency rooms, your option is North Smithfield Urgent Care and Lincoln Urgent Care, where you'll be seen by a board-certified physician in a comfortable and restful setting. Most importantly, you'll have a diagnosis and information about your medical discomfort. In other words, peace of mind. North Smithfield Urgent Care, 594 Great Road, North Smithfield, and Lincoln Urgent Care, across from the Lincoln Mall. You do have a choice.
Don't look now, but spring is right around the corner. Get out those golf clubs and head over to Lewis Quistit Golf Club, located right in the city of North Providence. Lewis Quistit offers a stunning 9-hole course designed by U.S. Open champion Ken Venturi. Whether you're looking for a fun, challenging round of golf or just a relaxing day surrounded by rolling hills, oak trees, natural wetlands, this is the perfect spot. With tee times available 7 days a week, fantastic court conditions, and a welcoming atmosphere both for members and the public, Lewis Quistit is a place to be. And after you're around, don't miss out on great food and drinks at the Pub on One, complete with a scenic golf course view. Contact Lewis Quistit Golf Club at www.lewisquisitgc.com or by calling 401-353-1620.
Are you looking to beautify your property this spring? Look to A.J. Moran for stonework patios, steps, walkways, plus retaining walls. Are you looking to beautify your home this spring? A.J. Moran can put veneer stone right on your house to have beautiful looking stone. And if that's not what you want, A.J. Moran can rebuild indoor fireplaces with veneer stone. It's real natural stone. Check out what they can do online, ajmoraninc.com. A.J. Moran.
OM Radio.
And welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan, along with my co-host Pat Holland. There we go. There we go. It only took 4 tries. I got the sticky button to work there. So, want to switch over to some college hockey. Been watching all the conference finals have been happening, and only in college hockey, only 16 teams make the tournament. There's only 64 that play or that are ranked in the pairwise rankings that determine who goes to the 16-team tournament. So obviously, it's far different than the basketball tournament. But to start off, college hockey stunning upset in the ECAC. The team we had, I had anyway. I think Pat, you agreed, had winning the ECAC and possibly the only entry into the 16-team tournament. Quinnipiac were upset by Cornell yesterday afternoon by a score of 3-2. Cornell will now play Clarkson, who beat Dartmouth 4-1 yesterday as well. The winner gets the automatic qualifier. Will be decided today at 5 o'clock, and that it's going to throw a huge monkey wrench into the whole situation of who gets in, because as we'll talk in a little bit, I've got 15 of the 16 teams locked down, and I've got a race. And the fact that Quinnipiac didn't win the ECAC is going to knock, in my opinion, one of these 4 teams out. So Quinnipiac has a pairwise ranking of 13. Cornell is 17 and Clarkson was 20, in essence, meaning Cornell and Clarkson had no chance of getting an at-large bid unless they win the ECAC. So that final will be today at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, then in the Hockey East final last night, number 4 Maine beat number 7 UConn by a score of 5-2. We've talked all year long about how strong the Hockey East is. Northeastern, number 23 in the pairwise, and really had no chance of making the tournament. Took Maine to double overtime Thursday night, which was a great game.
Yes.
before falling 4-3. I believe their goalie had like 57 saves.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was incredible.
Huge monkey wrench. That would have been, again, had the Huskies won Hockey East. As it stands right now, the following teams from the Hockey East are in. Number 1, BC. Number 3, Maine, in by virtue of last night's win as well. Number 6, UConn. Number 7, BU. Number 8, Providence. They're all guaranteed. I'm pretty sure UMass is going to get in. And then, they're tied for, 10th with Ohio State. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, I mean, that's the part of what you're looking at now as you look at these upsets, right? The ECAC really that'll end up bouncing one of the bubble teams out. I think the last time I saw it, like Penn State was there, Arizona State was there.
Yeah, it's you go down and you've got again the automatic qualifiers. You got 6 automatic qualifiers, and with the pairwise rankings, I've got Hockey East sending 6 teams, the NCHC sending 3, the Big Ten sending 3, ECAC I think might send 1, AHA 1, and I'm sorry, and the ECAC 1, and I just lost my spot, and CCHA 1. So it's going to come down. That's 15 spots. It's going to come down to Quinnipiac, Minnesota State, Michigan, and Arizona State. They're ranked number 13 through 16 for the final slot. I've got 15 going in either through automatic qualifiers or automatically in the top 10. This is going to be crazy this year because you've got in the Big Ten, you got Michigan State, number 2 in the pairwise. They're taking on Ohio State, number 10 in the pairwise. Michigan State is in. If Ohio State wins tonight, they could possibly knock UMass out. I don't think so now. But by making it, as far as by virtue of making it a championship game, I think they're in. Looks like Penn State at number 12 in the pairwise, they're going to get in. And then over in the CCHA, you got Minnesota State. They're number 14 in the pairwise, so they normally wouldn't get in. They got the automatic qualifier by winning their conference, so I think they're only going to send in 1 team. So it's really kind of fascinating going on. So we previously mentioned, Pat, about 3 teams from New England making the 68-team men's basketball tournament. If Quinnipiac can snag that last at-large ranking, 8 of the 16 teams in the NCAA tournament, which will be announced tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I think, on ESPNU. 8 of the 16 will be from New England in the college hockey tournament. Half of the tournament, at least 7 of the 16 will be from there. I mean, that's incredible. People, stop watching college hockey. It's incredible.
It's a great product. I don't know why you wouldn't, but
yeah. I've been to the Frozen Four. No, it isn't. But it's a New England big college hockey town.
This is coming from the guy who's
I know.
to like Frozen Four.
Yeah.
Every other year.
Exactly. No. So it's but such a great atmosphere at these things. If you get a chance, I think the regionals are up in Manchester. New Hampshire, which is only about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on traffic. It's a good take. You'll see a couple of games. It's worth the trip. So, all right. So that's the college hockey breakdown. Watch the selection show. Catch some of the finals. It's a great product. I would say it's on par. You've been to college hockey. Would you say it's on par with AHL, maybe East Coast League? I mean, it's minor league. But probably on par with East Coast Hockey League, ECHL, maybe AHL. Yeah, the college hockey tournament, like the college hockey tournament, like the end of the year tournaments, things like that. I would. You got so many. You got so many draft picks that are playing in this tournament. That
There's
it's
a lot of talent out there.
Yeah.
A lot of these kids are spoken for. They're either
Right.
been drafted or they're
about to be.
or they're about to be, or they're they're going to get signed as undrafted free agents.
Right.
Like Merkeloff.
Yeah.
Who's in Providence was.
Right.
He was just never signed. When then I don't even know if he was drafted or not. But sometimes you can get drafted, and if you don't sign by
A certain,
a certain time, you become basically your rights are open. Like
it's like the
easy.
within the first 2 years, and then you're a free agent again, and then you get.
Easy, kid.
Okay.
When he came out,
Yep.
he ended up being a free agent and signing with whoever he wanted.
Right.
So
So, all right. So there's your college hockey breakdown. You got any thoughts on the upcoming NCAA hockey tournament? You got any thoughts on Brian or the basketball tournament? My bracket is already bad, as always, just like everybody else's. Like, give us a call, 401-766-1240. Switching gears briefly before we get into some other stuff. Pat, I'll ask the question and throw it out there. Where were you November 5th, 1994? Do you? Because I know where I was. You know where you were?
1994, November 5th. Maybe at UMass.
Maybe.
Probably.
Okay. But you don't know specifically because I know where I was. I was at the Challenges Sports Bar, downtown Providence. For those of you that remember Challenges, they also had one in Warwick and Cranston before shutting down. The most packed I've ever seen a sports bar. 45-year-old George Foreman won unified WBA, IBF, and lineal heavyweight championships by knocking out 26-year-old Michael Mora. Foreman famous for the Rumble in the Jungle versus Ali in '74, which I don't remember, but I've seen it enough. He became a born-again Christian, Christian, Ari Christian, spokesman for the Foreman Grill, which I have a Foreman Grill at home, and sadly passed away yesterday at the age of 76. What a great story, George Foreman. Very sad to hear that he passed, but what a tremendous athlete. Foreman famous for the Down Goes Frazier, knocking out Joe Frazier. I was telling the story of when my son was in T-ball and somebody got hit in the head with the ball, and I yelled, "Down goes Frazier." One of the other coaches was like, "You can't say that." I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta work on my filter. Anytime I see somebody drop, I just yell, 'Down goes Frazier,'" whether they're 5 or 85. But so I gotta work on that.
Back then it wasn't as bad as it would be.
Maybe, yeah. But any thoughts and memories of Foreman?
I watched boxing growing up, so I remember. I do remember that fight. I don't remember him as much prior to that. I remember watching like the Hagler, Sugar Ray, like those types of guys, but just a tremendous life story for him.
Yes.
And I know there's I know there's a movie that they came out with about his kind of whole life story and whatnot, which was great to see. I know he had a tremendous career. He named all of his boys George.
Yes.
George or Georgetta is his daughter. So, but he was a charismatic guy. He won that championship when he was
45.
45.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had a tremendous life, and I think he fought Tommy Morrison too.
From Rocky V, Tommy Gunn.
Tommy Gunn.
Yeah.
Another guy who died early, but didn't have the same type of career as George Foreman.
So and not that I want to go into a whole boxing thing, but back in '94, boxing was still big. Tyson was still a main player in the game. Foreman, and up until I would say probably around 2000, early 2000s, I could still name active boxers, and boxing was such a big thing, and I can't even name an active boxer right now. I mean, I think the last ones I remember were the Klitschko's, maybe Lennox Lewis, Mayweather, but none of them have been boxing for, I would probably say 10 years now. It's been a while anyway.
Yeah, I still catch him every now and
Do
then.
you? Can you name an active boxer at any weight class in any division? Yeah, exactly. So that's sad.
Not off the top of my head right now, but I think the last big fight that I watched, I actually happened to be in Vegas when
Okay.
Mayweather fought Pacquiao.
Okay. Yep. I remember, yeah, I've heard of Manny Pacquiao. Yep.
So a few years ago now.
All right.
You know, outside of the two brothers who were on like Nickelodeon who are fighting now.
Oh yeah, I meant like I've heard the names. I don't know, like my kids watch or something. I don't know. So okay, so yeah, rest in peace, to George Foreman, and last of a great era in boxing.
He was a two-time gold medalist too.
He was a gold medalist in 1968. So it's tremendous. The funny thing is, when he fought Ali, the Rumble in the Jungle, he did say, "I threw everything I had at Ali," and Ali kept saying, "Come on, keep bringing it."
Yep.
And he goes, I'm done. He goes, I'm out of gas. So, hey, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, talk a little bit of the Celtics, the big deal going on, and then the Red Sox open up their season, so we'll touch on that. We want to hear from you as well, 401-766-1240. We will be back right after this.
ON 1240.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasca Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Invista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasca Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TascaBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasca Buick GMC, you will be satisfied. Woonsocket Door Sales carries an excellent variety of doors to complement your residence or business, including the LiftMaster security doors that provide you with extra protection against theft. These doors feature a special security ID code to further safeguard your home, business, or valuables in your garage. Remember, an attractive door complements the appearance of your home or business. Woonsocket Door Sales for installation, parts, and repairs. Woonsocket Door Sales, 1 Biltmore Avenue, Cumberland. Call them 767-3448.
The world-class distributor of all things electrical is Electrical Wholesalers. They are a full-service electrical distributor with branches throughout Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. Locally, they're at 113 Clinton Street next to KFC here in Woonsocket, with other locations in Cranston and Franklin, Massachusetts. Electrical Wholesalers provides the highest quality service to electrical contractors, as well as residential, commercial, and industrial customers. Electrical Wholesalers is open Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Visit ew-ne.com. Electrical Wholesalers.
Since 1948, their motto has been to give every customer the very best in quality service, as well as attention to detail. And that promise continues today at Michaud's Auto Body, a modern 5-stall facility with the latest in technology. Whenever you have time, please check their website at michaudautobody.com and take a short video tour of their modern facility. It's very interesting. Michaud's Auto Body on Privilege Street, Woonsocket, a second-generation family business. 769-1983.
And welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan. So, Pat, you've been getting a ton of FaceTime, but due to a little glitch on my end of things, your voice may not have been as clear, as loud as it should have been. But for our last half hour here, you will be.
We get the full me.
You get the full you, Pat. So,
Perfect.
So maybe people like the other you on the first half hour. We'll find out. So
We will. What, maybe they liked last week when you weren't here.
I've been getting some messages. I deleted those messages before you could read them.
Right.
How much better they enjoyed the show last week than the week before.
All our fan mail coming in.
All the fan mail, yeah. That's why I thought Dave came down here to give us our fan mail. People still mail letters? Anyway. Okay, so we touched on Brian. We've touched on college hockey and George Foreman. Actually, we got a phone call. We got someone on the line right now. Let's see who we have on the line. Hello, you're on the air.
Good morning, guys.
Hey,
Good morning.
hey, Moose, how are you?
All right, how you doing? How was your adventurous trip?
It was great, Moose. Nothing better than going down south where it's warm and then be able to see my son play some baseball. It's an absolute thrill. I've been very fortunate. I've been able to do this with both of my sons. So thank you
You
for
like golf?
asking. What's that?
You play golf once in a while?
I did not, but I did go to a Mets Cardinals preseason game. So I'd never been to one of those before. So that was
Or
pretty
maybe
cool.
it's down by Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Myrtle Beach.
My wife didn't want to go golf, and neither did my daughter. So sometimes you
That's
gotta.
a beautiful golf course.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
Well, anyway, from golf to baseball to golf, back to baseball. So let's talk about our beloved Sox who open the season in Texas Thursday.
Thursday night. I'm very excited.
And a couple of notes I want to make that I haven't brought up because everything with going on with the demise of the Bruins this year, the March Madness. I picked 28 out of 30 teams so far, out of 32
Wow.
teams. I'm not even in the top 50.
Yeah. No, it's a couple of upsets, but none of the huge upsets. No 15s over 2s.
I had 4 or 5 upsets in there, but I played this online. I can't even go into how many people are in this.
Oh, that's
if it was a local pool, I'd have a shot. But,
right.
You got to be nearly perfect in this. But anyway, back to the Sox, and a couple of questions I wanted to ask you about with the incoming team, and a couple of questions I never brought up before, and that was, we talked about it, was the trading of Kellen Jansen, who we thought was going to retire. And the question is, if they knew he wasn't retiring, he was probably on a 1-year track. Why didn't they retain him? Did he want to go on himself?
Yeah, that's interesting, Louis, because I had it from my inside source that he was retiring, and if you remember the end of the year, last year he left the team with about a week to go, with permission from management and everything. He left the team. All signs indicated that he wasn't coming back to the Red Sox. All signs indicated that he was retiring, and then even in the off-season free agency, his name was never even really brought up until the day he signed.
Just like it just came out of the woodwork. I guess what?
So
signed with who's he with the Angels?
Angels, yep.
Yeah, the Angels.
So I wonder if he was talked back into it. He needed one more contract just to solidify his financial future. I don't know, but did you hear anything on Jansen?
No, I just think he checked out at the end of last season and basically abandoned the team, and I don't think they had any interest in bringing him back.
I don't trust Arnoldus Chapman too much.
Yeah.
I still think that closer spot is up in the air.
Yeah, and maybe they'll do a closer by committee.
By committee, boy, that raises all kind of question marks.
Yeah, but if you name Chapman as your closer and he starts failing,
you need a closer.
Yeah, I know, but
got to go with him.
That's the biggest loss right now. That's the biggest need. I mean, I don't know. Going into the season, we said it back in December and November, like who's going to be next year's closer. We mentioned it when camp opened. Like I don't think they don't have a closer yet, and that's just the issue.
It seems like that lineup is all set. I'm not worried about offensively what they're going to do, and I'm not really that worried about their starting pitching. We had a beautiful pickup by Crochet.
That's
the Walker kid. He looks fine. He'll be fine. I don't know when Carter Crawford's coming back. And Tanner Houck, is he still...
I don't think any of the injuries are that serious. Bayo's hurt too, right?
What I'm concerned about is the bullpen.
Yeah.
The bullpen, not only middle relief, the closer, which we just discussed.
Right. I'm just looking up. Yeah, Crochet's got a 0.57. I know it's spring training, but
he's been lights out.
He looks brutal out there, I'm telling you.
He really does.
A big boy.
Pitched the innings. Bueller's looked pretty good as well through his 10 innings. So I'm happy with the I've been happy with the starting pitching anyway, on paper going into the season. I'm very concerned about the bullpen, and then the curiosity factor of Devers, who he's working. I keep hearing how he's working on his swing. I'm not even sure what that means, because he's been working on his swing the whole time. I think he's only
because of his shoulder, Kevin.
Oh, he's got bad shoulders, but he's still kind of crying about
he's coming back from surgery.
Right, but he's crying about not playing third. So he still seems to be.
But he's not. He wasn't ready to play third.
Right.
Like even he can cry all he wants, but he showed up at spring training.
Right.
Like 40, 50
pounds
overweight.
Out of proportion a little bit, that story.
I
think
just
so.
I wonder. That's all. I just
no other media.
Oh yeah.
They love to bring up and stir up the pot.
Right.
Filth.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's so I like that line. I like Devers at DH, assuming he's going to hit. I brought it up the other night. I like Yoshida still. I know I'm the only one that does.
What are you doing with this guy?
But I do like Yoshida because he makes contact. I hate how many strikeouts are happening.
You count how many times he's going to ground out to second base this year.
I know. The double play is in play. I know. I was schooled on that the other night as well.
Bounces thing. I mean, here comes the ground out the second on 2 bounces. But anyway, what I'm concerned about is the pitching and you know whom.
Yeah, I know you're not the biggest Cora guy.
He's in charge of that pitching staff.
Right. No.
You know who he is.
We'll see how it goes. It's going to be
Keep a close eye on this.
Yep.
Twiddly-dee-dumb guy.
The bullpen's going to be huge, especially all season. But April and May when the starters, lucky to go 5 or 6 innings. The bullpen's going to be huge. So they got some decent names. I'm always concerned about old school myself in the sense I get concerned about any bullpen. And without having a designated closer, I'm in agreement with you right now. I'm nervous, but I think their offense is good enough.
You see Chapman's whip?
It's terrible. He averages 6 walks every 9 innings.
1.39. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's high.
Yeah, it's good
Walks
for softball.
and hits divided by innings pitch.
Yeah, I love the whip. I love that. I love that stat.
Yeah, it's more important than runs. Not ERA, but opposition hitting as a team.
Oh, right.
Team. Who cares? What's his whip? That's what we want to know.
You're right.
Walks and hits.
Yep.
So, anyway. All right, guys. Listen, taking up your time.
All right. No, thanks for calling in, Moose. And, I'm sure we'll chat again. But Go Sox season opens Thursday, I think, at 4 o'clock Eastern time.
Yeah.
So, hopefully it doesn't rain in Texas and get the season underway. And we can stop talking about spring training and start talking about the regular season.
Yeah.
So,
I picked Florida, by the way, to win it all at the dance.
you pick. Oh, I think I've got.
I have
Auburn.
Duke.
I think I got Auburn.
Over.
That's who I have them getting beat.
Yep.
I got Duke in Florida in the final.
All right.
There you go.
Good luck. Good
All
luck
right,
on that.
guys.
All right,
Have a
we'll
good
talk
weekend.
soon.
Talk
Bye,
to you
Moose.
next week. Bye-bye.
The Mighty Moose.
Chapman is
checking.
also averaging 2 strikeouts an inning
Right.
in spring training
And
too.
actually, just pulled it up. Believe it or not.
1.09
1.09
isn't
and
terrible.
Crochet's got a 1.34. Actually, and then I want to get into the whole thing. Walker Buehler's 0.8, which is incredible. I'm more of a 1.5 and below on the whip. You start getting up over 1.5 and you're in trouble. Like Cooper Criswell, 1.57.
Yep. He's struggled a little bit.
You don't even know who this Louis Guerrero is, but 2.29. You start getting into the twos, forget it. 1.5 or higher. A little bit of concern. So right now, Chapman, 5 walks in 7 innings.
But the whip is. I mean, I'm not going to look at their whip for spring training.
Right.
It's very short, especially in a starting person. It's very short.
Well, the numbers are skewed.
The numbers are skewed. 1.34, but he's only pitched 15 innings.
Right. You have one bad inning, and your numbers are skewed.
And that's really what it could be. But he is, he has 30 strikeouts.
Right. The big concern. What's nice about Chapman is he's only given up 3 hits in 7 innings. He has struck out 14 in 7 innings, but he has walked 5, and that's so that's one. That's almost 1 per inning. That's his average of 6.9. That's a knock on Chapman. He can still gas it up to 100 plus, I should say. And I don't know if they've announced him as the closer. Do you know if they have announced?
I don't think they've announced anyone as a closer yet.
No specific. Does anybody have?
I like this guy Fitz.
Fitz, I've heard good things about as well.
His whip's a little high in spring training, but it's on par for his career, which is only 1 season.
Right. That's the guy we picked up from Pittsburgh. Fitz.
No, Fitz is a Yankee.
Oh, Yankee. Who's the guy they picked up? Oh boy, he ended up in Worcester last year.
Yeah,
he's drawing a blank on his name.
Quinn Priester.
That's it. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, and they talk about Whitlock being a possible closer if healthy. And I don't know his status right now. He's got good numbers in the spring. Is he hurt right now? Again, being away.
Yeah,
I'm trying to catch up on everything because I didn't follow it as closely as I wanted to. Being away.
Priester, he pitched. He's 1-1 in the spring training. 4.82 ERA, 9 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, 2.25 WHIP. Yeah. Which is tough. But
so do you have some thoughts on the Red Sox upcoming season? 401-766-1240. So Pat, I'll put you on the spot right now. Who plays second base for your Boston Red Sox on opening day?
I think the starting second baseman opening day is going to be Campbell.
You think so?
I think he's done enough during spring training to turn the eye. We're not going to see Devers at third to open.
Nope. No, I don't think we're going to see Devers at third all year. So I think we're
that would
Bregman.
be my guess. I mean,
Bregman still hasn't taken the ball at second base, last I've heard. I think we're going to see Meyer at second base.
It'll be either one of those two.
Yeah, I think Campbell and I think Anthony will start the year in Worcester. As we had Bill Wanless on the show, we should see if we can get Bill back on over the course of the next few weeks as Worcester begins to open up their season. I know Bill was hoping for all three of the big guns to start the year in Worcester. I don't think he's going to get that. I think he might get. I think he might get two of them. I think he's going to get Christian Campbell, who has been hitting better. He's diminished his strikeouts. He started off like 0 for with a ton of. I think he was 0 for 10 with 7 strikeouts to start spring training, and some of those strikeouts were against Northeastern, things like that. He's done better. He still has like 16 strikeouts on the spring. I think he's doing better. I think they may just start him down in Worcester just to relax away from the spotlight. Meyer's been hitting the ball well. What's he, 333? Good on base, and Anthony, do you see him? He's got decent. 219, but 350 on base percentage. I think he starts the year in Worcester. What are your thoughts on Anthony?
Yeah, I think he's the odd man out for now.
Right.
I think they got too much else to figure out. And Anthony can still. And you can. All three of them can use some time down there, but I think there's a need immediately, obviously, for second base, and those are the two guys that can play it. Where there's a, you got Cassis, you got Yoshida, you got Devers that they got to figure out, like, is he going to play first? Is he not? We can't have,
Are you of the thought process that Trevor Story is going to get hurt?
You gotta, it got to be on your mind because he's been hurt since they got him.
So you got Meyer playing some second base in spring training. You send Campbell down to second base. Meyer is a shortstop.
Correct, because he can slide right over.
So he can slide right over. So two schools of thought. You keep one of them, you send the other one down, so they're both working on their infield work. Or you send both of them down, and you get one at second, one at short.
If Trevor Story can stay healthy, this team could do some damage.
They could.
With that lineup.
Right.
Throw whoever you want in at second. I think either of them are, and then again you still have Rafaela that they could throw.
He could play infield. He played 16 games in the infield.
Yeah, so
second base, and he played 16 in the outfield.
It's not it. I don't want to see them throw these guys into the fire too soon
if they're not ready.
They're not ready, but I think both of them are dynamic players that we've been hearing about Marcelo Meyer for
a while
since
now.
they drafted him, and he is similar to Story, right? Can't stay healthy, can't stay on the field, but does produce when he is there.
Right.
But to have Story healthy with a Bregman, that's a scary look. With Devers, who we know can still hit.
Right. Were you surprised that Grissom got sent down to Worcester?
No.
I was.
I think they want to give him every opportunity to make it because that's what they got for sale.
Right.
But I wasn't surprised because I don't think he was doing much.
No,
he was struggling in the spring season.
We do have a phone call.
We do have a phone call.
All right,
Excellent.
so let's go to the lines. And who do we have on the line?
Good morning. Hey, it's John from Riverside.
Hey, John from Riverside. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Excellent.
Good, John.
Got some thoughts on the Sox?
Yeah, I got a few thoughts on the Sox.
How did I
thought Christian Campbell was going to make the team.
You got Campbell over Meyer making it?
Yeah, I think Campbell from reading between the lines.
John, Kevin doesn't like when people call in and disagree with him.
Yeah, I know.
Just so you know.
Hey, when they put Meyer at second, that's where I read between the lines and said he's staying up and they're sending Campbell down. So what do you read in between the lines that make you think that Campbell stays?
Just a few things I saw the core that stated. It just sounded like they like what they saw out of Campbell.
Okay. I'm down with that. I'm just nervous of Campbell's strikeouts and how he started spring training, which tells me that he was a little bit nervous. And I just wonder if he makes the opening day roster, if he'll start off, nervous, which is fine if they got a good lineup and they can have patience. They sink him, throw him into the 9-hole, tell him not to worry. He could start off like Pedroia did. His first month, I think in Boston, he was hitting like 120. And Francona told him not to worry. If they take that type of approach with him, I'm okay with Christian Campbell being up. But if they're going to rush him or if he can't handle it at first, that's why I want him in Worcester. Because they're so high on him, I don't want to ruin him in April.
True. Yeah, you don't want to ruin him. And,
right.
It's like his confidence. But
so
the other thing,
go ahead.
Yoshida, with Devers probably being the DH, Bregman at third. What happens to Yoshida? He is fourth outfielder now. Sometime DH and outfielder.
Yeah, that's the look. It looks like he'll be a rotating guy in the outfield in DH when he's not. That'll be a rotating position, I guess. Maybe it's a matchup. He's a lefty, right?
He's a lefty batter, not a very good outfielder.
We still have too many lefties.
Do you think they can get a reliever for him? Because that's what they need help is in the bullpen.
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe I'll probably eat some of his money, but
yeah, that's
right. Well, that's
the contract probably. But
so it should be interesting, John. I'm real excited for the year. I'm excited that we're talking about young kids coming through the system that they've got under their control for the next 5 or 6 years in theory. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous at catcher when they traded Teal because I see Connor Wong is not hitting well in spring training, but I guess he'll be okay. So, all right, John, I gotta let you go. We gotta take a quick break before our final segment. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right, thanks.
All right, go Sox. John from Riverside joined us, and we're going to take our final break. When we come back, we'll talk, finish up with the Red Sox, maybe touch on the Celtics really quick. And if you have a thought, feel free to give us a call, 401-766-1240, and you can join us in the cheap seats with Pat and Kevin.
ON 1240.
They can diagnose and repair just about anything at State Line Service. From tires and alignments and front-end work on all makes of cars and trucks up to 1 ton to smaller items like brakes, starters, struts, exhausts, radiators, timing belts, and high-speed balance. State Line Service is a third-generation family-owned business, up to date with the latest technology. They believe in clear, honest communication with their clients. No double talk, no pressure. State Line Service, 1209 Social Street, Woonsocket, at the State Line. State Line Service.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Service Master by Gilmore. From water and fire restoration to mold remediation and emergency cleanup, we've been restoring peace of mind for over 40 years, now proudly serving all areas, including our newest service location in Rhode Island. No job is too big or too small. Day or night, we're here for you. Call Service Master by Gilmore at 1-800-783-0552 or visit us at the web at www.svmgilmore.com. Restoration done right every time.
If you're celebrating a major event, regardless of the reason, Michael's Meats of Cumberland can elevate your next meal from ordinary to extraordinary with meats so good your guests will ask you where you got them. Tell them, Michael's Meats. Michael's Meats is in the Walgreens parking lot on Mendon Road in Cumberland, just north of the Ciabro Plaza. They're open Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m., making your next meal truly special. Here's this week's specials at Michael's Meats.
And this week's specials at Michael's Meats. Michael has chicken teriyaki steaks for just $4.99 a pound at Michael's Meats. Welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan along with Pat Holland, who successfully navigated the last 2 weeks a little bit better than I navigated the first half hour of the show. So we get the full Pat going on. So are you excited for the start of the baseball season? Are you excited for the Red Sox?
Yeah.
I am, for the first time in a while.
I don't tune in until the second half of the baseball season, but this year I'm a little more invested, I guess.
And not that I want to, actually talking off here, I don't want to talk betting too much. However, they have set their over-under at 86.5. And I actually like the over, and I just base it on Last year they went 81 and 81, and I think they are a 1 win per month better team than last year at the very least, which gets them to about 87, 88 wins. So I like the order, and I actually like them definitely competing for a playoff spot with the extra wild card spot that they've added in baseball. I think the Sox have a very legitimate shot competing for a playoff spot, and I think it's going to be the bullpen. That'll be the deciding factor if they can settle in on a closer, and the infield defense has to be better than last year. If it's the same, then
which
it should be better. You gotta go. You gotta go Glover at third base.
Solidified.
Right.
More.
Yep. Absolutely. So yeah, Gold Glove third base, Trevor Story, at short, and then hopefully one they get. And the kids are good at second. Costas is fine at first. He's a weirdo, but he's fine at first base. And
he's solid.
Rafaela, I like him in the outfield a lot. Abreu won a Gold Glove last year, and then in left,
Duran.
you got and Duran, and then you also go Refsnyder. So everyone's talking about Yoshida being the fourth outfielder. He's actually the fifth outfielder. Because I like Refsnyder as your fourth outfielder.
They lost Musclehead.
Verdugo?
Who went down to Baltimore. He signed with Baltimore.
Yeah, the guy with all the home runs. Not too many. I forget his name.
But he cost them several games in the outfield.
Yeah, he did
with errors. So, they should be better.
Right. They should be. So, all right. The other news, we got a little bit of time left. The Boston Celtics sold for just $6.1 billion. We came up. We got a group of guys that kind of get together on Thursday, and we were passing the hat. We came up just shy of the $6.1 billion.
Yeah, 5.8. We got.
Yeah, it was so close. I can't believe that they didn't give it to us. Apparently, the Grosbecks bought the team for about $350 million, $330 million back in 2002. Everyone thought Wick Grosbeck was the majority owner. Apparently, he was like 1% owner and the spokesman of the team.
Daddy
exactly.
Was the majority, but
but Wick stays on for the next 3 years in his role as the face of the team. Apparently, he convinced his father to spend a lot of money. As I think the Celtics have the highest payroll in the NBA, are pretty close to it.
Yep.
They said all the right things. The owners. It's day one. They want championships. They say they're Celtics fans. I think they're from New England.
They're from
Is it somebody from New England?
Georgetown, Mass.
Oh, okay. So
Chisholm, who's the leader of the group, is from Georgetown, Mass.
And he said he wants to see more banners go up in the rafters. So they're saying the right things. I mean,
saying the right things, but you have to peel back the onion a little bit. It's a private equity.
Yeah.
Right, they're in it to make money. There's no way they're making money initially off this sale. If you look at the salary and the luxury tax that they're going to potentially have to pay unless they make some changes. That being said, I don't think he's going to come out and lie. I think he's in it to continue the legacy and do all the right things. But there'll be some changes made.
I'm sure.
For sure. Like anything else. I mean, it's like, hey, we can't spend it like this because I gotta return a profit.
I think changes will be slow. I don't think they'll be radical.
Yeah,
changes,
I don't think
especially with Grosbeck on for the next 3 years. If you see Grosbeck walk away after like a year and a half, then something's up. They're going to be making changes really quick because I think Grosbeck really wants to win and keep his legacy of, hey, I brought.
The interesting piece is, I feel like they squeezed Pagliuca out because Pags was putting together his deal to try to, and I think so. Maybe it's not as harmonious as everyone liked to think that it was over the years, but. I think
a lot of money.
It was like, hey, we're gonna, and ultimately that's, I'm sure Big Daddy Wick was like, hey, I'm not taking a cent less than what I need to, so get the best deal. So we're not giving him like the hometown discount for him to buy the team from us. So, but that's pretty impressive. $6.1 billion. After you buy a team for $350. million. That's a pretty good investment right there, right?
That's what I bought my house for $350 million. And I'm going to try and sell it for $6.1 billion. That's a pretty good return on
just
investment.
out of principle. I'll tell you, when you have money like that, you can make money like that. I mean, I've in my real life, I've managed properties of people with this type of equity, and it's amazing what they can do when they just, I'm just going to put it on the market for X and whatever. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, whatever. It's my fifth house. Like that.
The only other interesting thing that came up, they asked, I think it was Grossbeck, point blank, about a new garden. And he didn't really say much at first, but then he did go on to say that they have a great relationship with the Jacobs. They are in a lease with them, or a rental agreement, whatever, through the 2030s. So nothing's happening for 10 years.
I'm sure there's some buyouts if need be,
right? But the other piece is, and I love it, the talking heads talk about it up in Boston all the time. They can't believe the Celtics don't have their own place. And Grossbeck brought up a good point. He said, okay, so we're going to build another garden and stage another 18,000 seat place for concerts and events and wrestling and the auto show and all that stuff. He goes, no, there's no need for it. The relationship is great. He came short of saying, we're doing fine. We're making money. Yes, could he make more? I guess. But a lot more work has to go into it, because now you're going to book a building for so many days a year when you have another building right next door. And let's be honest, they don't build things in Boston quickly. I mean, there's stuff on the table. I was doing some research a while ago, back in the 60s, where they wanted to build a new football stadium for the Boston Patriots. And what have they built in Boston? They built a new garden eventually, when the old garden got so outdated. And have they built? I mean, they couldn't build a new Fenway.
No, I mean, the issue is the land.
Right.
And it's so expensive.
They're not building a new soccer stadium.
And there's not a lot of land left that hasn't been developed on.
Right.
I mean, back in the day, all these conversations were being had about the Seaport District because it was undeveloped. The McCourts owned most of it.
Yep.
Right? That's all been sold. It's all luxury, high-rise, condos, hotels. It's all been developed out.
Yes.
So there's not a lot of places. That's why, I talk to my buddies and stuff and travel out to Indianapolis, and there's a huge infrastructure out there of softball, baseball, soccer that we were at, and it was like, imagine if you could put something like this out in Mass. It's like, where?
Where?
It would have to be out in the middle of nowhere, because there's just no land.
You have to go west of Worcester, east of Springfield,
and then nobody's coming there.
Nobody's going to go out there anyway, because
so there's nothing in Eastern Mass, Boston, local downtown. I mean, look at the Crafts having a hard enough time. Trying to get a stadium built, which I think inevitably will get built, but it's like too little, too late.
Yeah, I think the Crafts end up ultimately, as been my prediction for years, is they end up putting another soccer field stadium on their property in Foxborough. They got the train that goes in there anyway.
Right.
They got the new rail service that's starting up on the New Bedford Fall River. I don't know if they can make it work over to Foxborough, but you got more people that have access to commuter rail, but they can figure out going in there and then, I don't know, and then around. But, things are happening that way. I don't see it being built in Boston. There's just been too many issues.
Even the rail services, those are already slotted. Like those are already easement agreements, right? That they've either had and went defunct, and now they're bringing them back. No, they're not bringing new easements through cities and towns to run trains.
No. So, all right. So we just wrap things up. A couple things, just touch on that. We'll hit on a little bit more next week. Obviously, Red Sox. Pats. New England Patriots, what are they doing in free agency, if anything?
We covered that last week. You didn't listen to the show?
I was watching my kid play.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, Tyler. Thank you to Tyler Hetu, who was on last week. He's great as always. So hopefully the Pats make a little more splash. The Red Sox opening up in 5 days against the Texas Rangers. Something that we've talked about off air, but we haven't brought it to the air. Alex Ovechkin is now just 7 goals away from passing Wayne Gretzky on the all-time list of goals, once thought unbeatable. Got a great article. I'd like to reference that next week. And I kind of compare Ovechkin to like Hank Aaron. He just hits how Aaron just hit like 44 home runs every year. Ovechkin just scores 45 goals every year. I'd like to get into that a little bit in the future as well. And next week, we're going to have our favorite party animal, Joining us on the line, Nate Tellier from the Georgia of the Savannah Bananas organization. Nate Tellier will be joining us on the line. We'll be working out the details with that next week, so we hope you tune in. Pat, have a great weekend. It's good to be back. And
RIFC tonight, 10 o'clock. They're out west in Phoenix. And I think the Revolution play this afternoon at like 2:30.
And hopefully they can score a goal off their own foot and get on the start scoring some goals this year. I understand they have one goal this year, and it was an own goal.
That would be nice.
It'd be nice to get the Revolution going.
Actually, no, it's next week they play.
Next week, they need a break after scoring a goal. I guess I guess what I'm trying to say, Revolution not off to a great start at 0-3-1.
A little slow
to start the year. Thank you so much for joining us in the Chief Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan along with Pat Holland. We will be back next week on the airways. Have a great weekend.